Hello, Ezra. How are you? Good afternoon. This is Rotimi Sankore here with Ayobe on Nigeria Info. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, hello, Izzy. This is Ayo.
All right. Over to you. Yes, we are speaking up.
Okay, Izzy, can you hear me? I hope that you can hear me well.
You're better than the other person.
Well, we're very happy to have you on as a legal practitioner and, of course, as the executive director of the Center for Social Justice. And I know that you've been looking into this issue of campaign finance. And so I'd like to ask you, first of all, you know that limits have been set by the legislation for campaign finance. Do you think that those limits are realistic in the kind of campaigns that we're running in Nigeria?
Well, let me say, first of all, that these limits are not realistic. They are not based on any empirical evidence. They seem to be arbitrary, particularly if you look at the cost of electioneering in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And you know, because the Naira has also lost so much value in the last 30 years.
Hello?
Our apologies. We lost Ezra. We'll be getting him back on straight away.
Yeah.
But while we're waiting to get him back on, some of the really important issues that we'd like to discuss include the concept of free gifts in quotes. I mean, what is a free gift? If the cap on expenditure for a presidential candidate is 5 billion naira, and the maximum amount that an individual or entity can contribute is 10 million, if someone gives that candidate private jets to fly around the country for the duration of the campaign, and the costs of both the jet and the fuel exceeds 10 million, can it be considered a free gift? Or has that contributor or donor exceeded the 10 million? And if yes, what happens? Will INEC sanction the candidates? Are there other stakeholders that are monitoring? These are some of the ideas. Yes, okay.
Yes,
well, welcome back, Ezra.
Welcome back, and sorry for losing you. You were saying that you don't think that the limits are realistic, and the reason why, of course, I started with that is so that we can look at why it is that there's this tendency to ignore the rules or to try and circumvent them. So you were saying that you don't think the amounts are realistic.
Yeah, they are not realistic considering the current value of money. You know, they were paid in 2010, and at that time, the current value of the Naira the value of the Naira then is much more than what it is today. Mm-hmm. So, but there is even a snap. Beyond the rules set in the Electoral Act, 1 billion Naira for presidential candidates, 200 million for governorship candidates, 40 million for senatorial candidates, and 20 million for House of Reps. Chairmanship positions and total number 10 million, one councillorship, 1 million. You know, so what I'm saying is that this is for candidates. But then political parties do not have any decision on how much they can spend.
I see.
So to circumvent this, if you spend up to your ceiling, you pass the money over to your political party and they can spend as much as they can. The amount of money they can muster. So actually, you set a limitation by one hand, on the other hand, you take it away.
Yeah.
So that is even the challenge. And look at this issue. The governorship candidate is permitted to spend 200 million. While a presidential candidate who is going to campaign in 36 states is only permitted to spend what? 1 billion, which is times 5. So the logical thing should have been that if you are running a state level governorship election and just one state out of 36 states, that the presidential candidate should have been 200 million times 36. Although I'm not just trying to say less money.
No, but I think that it underlines the point that you were making, which is that there isn't any empirical basis for fixing these amounts.
The senatorial candidate is doing 40 million, and there are 3 senatorial seats in a state. So ideally, if you add 40 times 3, it will give you 120 million.
Yeah.
So I had expected the 200 million to be divisible by 3 to get the amount the senatorial candidate should spend. So So there's nothing empirical.
So when we have these
in the next
yeah.
for the National Assembly, which are trying to round up to submit to the president, they have seeking to increase this education.
But is there any basis for those increases?
There is no basis again. The government they moved them up to 1 billion and moved the presidential candidate to 5 billion.
And that legislation is still awaiting presidential assent. But whatever the limits that are set by the Act are, the next question that I would like you to advise us about is whether INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, is actually capable of monitoring these expenditures. Does it have the capacity? Is it monitoring these expenditures?
Well, INEC is by law supposed to be monitoring. And I know in 2005 they had a lot of capacity building sessions. And indeed I was informed that they did monitor some part of the election, but I haven't seen the report so far. But in all fairness to INEC, INEC is overwhelmed with a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Logistics, the human technology. So if INEC has to be put in a position to monitor campaigns, they have to be better resources, both in terms of technology, both in terms of human resources, and in terms of finances. And then there's a deeper part of which I have also written to INEC to see, take it off from there. It's called the Political Finance Monitoring Group. Now, INEC on its own may not have all the capacity, but it needs a collaboration of sister agencies. For instance, INEC can be the convener of this monitoring group. It will be the National Broadcasting Commission, because the NBC is the regulatory agency for all electronic media, radio and television. So the NBC is in a position to mandate all radio and television to give information about the number of adverts and the costs that run through all radio and television. And then INEC can collaborate with the Financial Intelligence and CPI and mandate all candidates to open dedicated accounts for receiving money and spending money for the election. So by simply using your VPN as a candidate to print out your bank statement, I think we have an idea of what money passed through that account.
But are these proposals being adopted by INEC or?
Proposals my organization made, and INEC seems to be interested, but I don't know whether it's been adopted or not. But that's an idea that can involve sister agencies, tracking. Then at the end of the day, they sit down and collaborate and get the facts. So it's doable, but as of now, to the best of my knowledge, it's not in fact.
Now, apart from INEC and this initiative which you're hoping to work with them, do you know whether other agencies or NGOs are doing it? Or is it just a matter of political parties who may or may not have an interest in monitoring what is being spent by their opponents?
Well, the institutions have been involved in our PSO's series before. In 2007 we tracked. Since I went over to CSJ, we've tracked in 2011, presidential. Then we've tracked it twice in Edo State, we've tracked twice in Ondo, we've done in Anambra, we've done in Ekiti. And then, like I said, we collaborated with INEC in capacity building in 2006. So we are trying to build that momentum so that other civil society organizations, and you know that complete, after they did the election, both sides became a very topical issue.
Yes.
So that's how the momentum builds, and the media is taking interest and writing about it. So I'm hoping that other organizations are going to join with the for the.
But is it when we talk about things like vote buying, which are themselves illegal, is a political party going to reflect that kind of money in its statements to INEC, or is it just going to say that, oh well, that's some enthusiastic, like a super PAC, which we the political party know nothing about?
You expect the political man or woman to report itself.
No, that's the point.
So they will not do that, and that's why I'm saying if you involve other stakeholders, you have the capacity to track it. They will be able to say, yes, this is what our investigation, our monitoring finds out. And either because there are provisions in the criminal code and the electoral act against both sides, which can affect an offense and prescribe penalty. So if the tracking is very well done, people will be prosecuted. Or even if you don't want to prosecute, we have this information.
Well, at the moment, you see what's happening for, and it's actually leaving the electorate not very well informed, is that there's a lot of finger pointing going on by the major contenders. But since they're both they're all pointing fingers at each other, it doesn't really leave the electorate any better informed about what's really happening and what's allowed and what's not allowed.
No, I think the average Nigerian knows that accepting that decision before you do something. But that's even at the reverse side of it. There is a wholesale rigging and vote buying. For instance, what happens at the convention primary. You know, where delegates come. You know, delegates are few. They could be 1,000. They could be 4,000 at the presidential level. At some other races, it could be like 200, 300. Where people, the candidates are support on them, and that budget's running to.
But does INEC monitor those expenditures?
INEC should monitor, but now it does not monitor, or it may not have the capacity to monitor. But I feel it should monitor because it's very representative primary. And these things are not even rocket science to monitor. You go into a town or where you're having presidential primary, look around the hotels. They will tell you who booked up.
Yeah.
You'll be able to know somebody pays for 5 different hotels, and those hotels, you have an idea of the number of rooms and how much it will cost.
Well,
in fact, you even distribute raw cash where you could set just on that.
I guess that unfortunately the primaries are in the past. They may become the subject of litigation, but looking forward, because we have this position that we always take that somebody has to have a lot of money to run for elections. And yet you have, in other countries, you have people volunteering. And, whether it's to go around campaigning, whether it's to send out envelopes, whatever it is, you do have people volunteering their time and services. And against that, you have those who say that I can't volunteer my time, but I can volunteer my private jet or some other form of material assistance. And I wonder how these things are calculated for the purposes of saying whether this is part of campaign financing or campaign spending, or whether